Hi, everybody. Sandy Kreisberg here, the HBS guru, flying solo today, but we do have Kramer. Kramer, say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kramer Qualls. I'm a submarine officer in the Navy. I'm originally from Abbeville, Louisiana. I enlisted in the Navy in 2010 and then got picked up for a program to go back to college and finish a degree in electrical engineering. I've been a submarine officer since 2015, and now I'm ready to get out and apply for my MBA.
Good, good. So and he goes by Kramer. So what Kramer wants is a kind of a mock interview. So we're going to do that, and we're going to cast it towards military applicants. There are certain questions that they ask to military applicants. And let me also add, both Kramer and everybody else, there's a lot of tapes on YouTube about HBS and other school interviewing, and some of them are focused on military applicants, okay? So here, very often the first question, Kramer, is, hi there, how are you? Could you introduce yourself to your classmates? It's the first day of class, so could you just give a very short introduction?
Hi, yeah, everyone. My name is Kramer. I'm originally from a small town in Louisiana. I originally went to school in 2005, didn't go so well, and then I kind of wandered around doing some odd jobs and whatnot.
Yeah, you'll never finish. It'll be an hour later and you'll still be in high school.
Got it.
You really got to nail it right out of the box. You see, you did it better before we rolled the tape when I just asked you.
Got it. So would you like me to start over?
It's the first day of school, and stand up and quickly introduce yourself to your classmates.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kramer. I'm a former submarine officer. Joined the Navy in 2010, picked up a program to go back to college, finished my degree in 2015, been a submarine officer since 2015. Served on a ballistic missile submarine out of Washington. Done a few strategic deterrent patrols, led a whole bunch of sailors, learned a lot.
You got off to a great start there. Yeah,
okay.
This thing is often like 30 seconds, so you really have to hit the high points. Hi, everybody. My name is, call me Kramer. I've been a submarine officer. I joined the Navy in this year. I went to this college, and my goals are blah, blah.
Got it. Makes sense.
That's simple. This is real important. It's the first question they often ask, and it's the way you can kill yourself. Everybody should be able to go in there, to introduce themselves in a friendly, non-scripted way, and they should be able to just hit the highlights. The advantage is, if you screw it up, they'll interrupt you, but you should have that in your pocket. Okay, another popular question. Why did you go to SUNY Maritime College, if I got that right?
Yeah. So whenever I picked up my program to go to college, there were only a certain amount of colleges that were available to me, 18 across the country. And SUNY Maritime was more of a combination.
I got no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. I only had a certain amount of colleges that were available to me. SUNY Maritime was one that stuck out to me, based on the program that I actually commissioned as an officer through.
I got it. So the first thing you did was join the Navy.
Yes, I joined the Navy in 2010.
All right, you got to make that clear.
Yeah.
Let me say this, the interviewers at most schools are not familiar with military careers.
I understand.
They're frequently, at HBS, the interviewers are frequently women. And by frequently, I mean 19 times out of 20. Okay.
Understand.
So that's something to keep in mind. So let's start back in high school. Why did you join the Navy?
Actually, I joined the Navy after I had finished failing out of college the first time. So I failed out of college in 2008. And then I kind of wandered around doing odd jobs here and there. And I wanted something that gave me purpose and gave me meaning in life. And I wanted to serve something greater than myself. And so I joined the Navy in 2010. And it actually.
Well, if my colleague John Byrne were here and not renewing his psychotropic drug prescriptions, I would say, what do you think about that, John? And he would say, I don't know, but I'll play John's role here. You're not nailing this.
Got it.
You seem to think that screwing up is something that you're now a little bit proud of, considering how well you've done. That's a bad attitude. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You should present it as factually as possible. You go, I went to high school, and be specific. I went to high school at Joe Blow High School in Plainsville, Indiana. It's also where Superman went or whatever. Name the high school. And after high school, I wasn't ready for high school, or I wasn't focused, and I didn't do so well. So could you tell your story like that?
Okay. So I originally went to high school at St. Thomas More Catholic High School in Lafayette, Louisiana. Then I started school at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. I wasn't really ready for college. And so whenever I kind of started to not do so well, I retreated into myself and I didn't reach out for any help. And then whenever things started to go south, I just borderline stopped going to class entirely. And then I realized I wanted to do something about it and turn my life around. I joined the Navy.
Okay, that was right idea, a little too much of it.
Okay.
You're still, well, most people do this. You ask most people a question and they just go on and on and on. It's a very rare quality where people are capable of summarizing their resume or summarizing their life, but without sounding scripted. But that's something you should work on. Yeah, I went to high school. I was a little confused. So I decided to join the Navy for 1-2. And then what happened in the Navy?
In the Navy, I decided that, and with the help of other people, I dedicated myself to success early on. Succeeded from the moment I stepped off the bus at boot camp, won a few academic awards, and then was selected for a program to go back to school.
Why do you think the Navy, why do you think you had such great success in the Navy?
I was able to have success in the Navy because I cultivated an environment of success around me, surrounded myself with other people who were similarly motivated, and I had other people that I could lean on.
That sounds like you read it out of a book or something. Honestly, it may be the truth, but there's this word they got out there called scripted, and if you sound scripted, no matter what you say, they'll go, I don't trust this guy.
Got it. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to cure that, but I don't know. Is it scripted? Have you told this story a lot of times, or what?
I wouldn't say it's scripted, no.
You got to be more colloquial.
Okay.
I was successful in the Navy. For one thing, I liked it. That was real important. I was able to figure out what you needed to succeed. I met some great friends. Everything in the environment just worked.
Got it.
In a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
My version, you understand why my version's better?
Yeah.
Good. You're a submariner. How did that happen?
Well, I actually was a submariner I volunteered for submarines from the moment I went into the Navy. I've enjoyed my interactions.
Why?
So I originally volunteered for submarines because I figured that it would be an interesting career path for me. And then I actually, whenever I became an officer, I volunteered for submarines again.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're still not convincing me.
okay.
You need a good answer to this question. What career path does being a submariner lead to that's different than being, you know, a non-submariner?
Right, a pilot or a surface
Yeah,
guy or any of those.
right. What's the answer?
Well, in terms of the interactions that you have on a day-to-day basis with the personnel, it's because the commands are significantly smaller than a lot of the other Navy ships. You
Yeah,
have
but
more personal interactions with the
you'll
people that
never
you're
do it
leading.
this way. What did you know about submarines when you made the choice? You see, the great answer is, the very best answer is, my father was a submariner, okay?
Mhm.
Or if that's not the case, my best friend in high school was a submariner. And,
Got it.
you know, he kind of talked me into it.
Mhm.
Or I met guys, okay?
Right.
Those are great. People think, oh, that's so commonplace. You know, we want something exotic. They don't want something exotic. They want something that's true and sounds true.
Right. But yeah, I originally chose submarines because every submariner that I interacted with, I just kind of jived with them. And
How did you meet them?
so it was while I was actually in the nuclear training pipeline. Uh, some of my instructors were either submarine officers or enlisted submariners.
Okay, so that's the route. Okay,
Okay.
let me ask you some real typical questions. Uh, they sometimes say to military guys, what do you consider, this is hard, what do you consider as your best accomplishment and why?
So militarily, I would say my best accomplishment is being able to lead all of my sailors to success in incredibly difficult and stressful environments. You got the guys who are at work for 16 hours a day, every day for 3 months. And the amount of stress
They
that
don't want
they're
to hear
under.
that. They want a real story.
Okay.
So turn that into a real story. Go, you know, my greatest accomplishment was working with a guy named Joe Blow, who was, you know, marginal. And I was able to turn this guy around by
Okay.
becoming friends with him, figuring out what he needed. And, you know, I considered that a real personal success story. You get it?
I understand.
Then they blah blah. You know, what do you consider? You know, could you tell me something where, yeah, if you had it to do over again, you'd do it differently?
So one of the
Also known
sailors,
as a failure.
um, early on, whenever I first got to the ship, there was one sailor that I didn't quite connect with, who was in one of my divisions.
Yeah, good.
He
Blah
got
blah blah. That's a good answer. Okay.
okay.
Here's another typical question. Give me a career roadmap after you go to business school.
All right. So my career roadmap for myself is I would like to utilize the skills and the network that I'm able to gain through an MBA.
Okay, stop right there. This language is going to kill you. Utilize the
Okay.
skills. You understand why that's not something you should say, you know.
It's just generic.
It is scripted.
Okay.
Yeah. You go after business school, a great first job for me would be this.
Okay.
You see, you've got to learn to be specific. You
Yeah.
think you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So ideally, after business school, I'd like to go into tech consulting for a little while, and then after that,
What does that mean? Like where?
uh,
Like a good first job for me after business school would to get in the rotational development program at a tech consulting firm like A, B, or C. You should.
okay.
That's a good answer. You get it?
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Tell me I just want to go through these generic questions. Tell me
Mhm.
a leader you admire and why.
So a leader I admire and why? That's a question I actually haven't particularly thought about as far as like the interview process goes. Um,
I hope you're not planning on saying that.
oh no, definitely not saying that. This is just me personally speaking to
Yeah.
you as a person,
All right.
not as an interviewer.
Great. Well,
Um,
think about it.
so it would probably be my first captain in the Navy. He
Good.
was
What did you admire about him? And what
he
was his name? Okay, Joe Blow. If you really admire somebody, you go, John Brown, who was my first captain in the Navy, and here's what I liked. Here's why I admired him. Okay, you need an answer for that.
got it.
And so does everybody else. Okay, who is someone? By the way, unbelievably typical question. Leader you admire and why?
Mhm.
Unbelievably typical question. Someone we both know that you admire. Not President Obama.
I know. That's the most generic answer that anyone's going to come up with.
No, the most generic answer you would come up with was a former president before the current one. I admired him. That would be your answer.
Understand. I really don't have a great answer for that one.
All right.
For
Well,
like a
get
relatable one.
one.
So I will definitely have one in my back pocket.
Yeah. Okay. You and everybody else. That's a very common question. What's the best? These are just common questions. What's the best advice you ever got and why?
The best advice I've ever gotten is actually from my current captain, and that's to care about your people.
What made him say that?
Because of the stressful environment that we work in, it's incredibly difficult to come in day after day and work the hours that the sailors have to work. And so he actually had a sailor who was in a division that he had take his own life. And
I get a better answer to that, but you understand.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to read some of these typical questions for you to think about. They've got a team thing, like how do you work in teams? What role do you typically play in a team? And then I should have started with this. There's a whole HBS module. How did you hear about HBS or whatever school you're being interviewed by? Let's just say it's HBS. What are you going to find difficult at HBS? What do you know about the case method? Do you like the case method? So you should study all the schools you're going to interview. Okay, and so that's the way a typical interview goes with guys like you. Okay,
Understand.
You got a lot to like, but for purposes of this, it helps to prepare some of this stuff without
sounding. You have to prepare enough to where you don't sound like you've prepared.
Very good. We'll leave it at that. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Kramer. Good luck, and hope to see you.
Thanks a bunch, Sandy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.